Hello Aries, this is your extended reading. I am really excited from, the cards here and from the message that is coming through because I feel like what was being hinted at in the first part about you achieving mastery in this, it's like a technique that brings you to balance, to bring you to stay afloat, but able to enjoy being in this in-between space, especially in between realms, I want to say, because I feel like there is, well, maybe one other person, maybe a student, which, it doesn't necessarily have to be like an official or formal student, but I have to say there is somebody, or maybe more than one person, interested in learning how you master that so quickly. Or it's like they want to hear from you what was your experience of, learning that by testing it out in yourself or with your own body, because we're beginning with the Knight of Swords, and remember we ended the first part with the King of Swords. So there's maybe this person is already with you because you went to this place with them, or you met them at the same place, or this is just somebody that is in your life. So when you go back home, or so, when you go back to your life after this moment of reset, because essentially the first part I was seeing you alone, right? I was not seeing any company other than this perception, this very clear perception of these two realms that you were in between, right? But nobody there, or no other person, or no other consciousness. So when you come out of this place, when you come out of this exercise practice, right, that you found out that you could really achieve mastery by just, trying a little bit longer than you used to, it's like there's something about what you have learned, what you have experienced, what you have achieved that is of interest to this Knight of Swords. And it's almost like it's like they're so interested that they are stopping everything and they are just, staring at you, wanting you to tell more or to teach how you got to this point. So it's interesting because the card that is coming next, I'm going to put here, to leave this here. So the card that is coming after the Knight of Swords is the Six of Pentacles, and traditionally this card is all about transaction, right? And this is the word that I'm receiving right now. This maybe financial transaction, or any sort of exchange, right? That maybe is, talking about a relationship, maybe it's talking about, a work relationship, but essentially what I'm seeing here in between, these two characters, you being the King of Swords and this other who, it might be your child, or it might be somebody younger than you, just because of the difference in status, or this, maybe there is an age gap, but it really doesn't matter. Whoever this person is, they are interested in learning from you. It's like what they want from you is for you to teach them how you manage to increase the capacity of your lungs so quick, right? And so remember what I was talking about with the Nine of Wands from the first part. It's like you are afloat, right? On the surface of the water, staring up at the sky, but feeling also all of it's like feeling the density of the water, but feeling like it's like you are aware of what's in front of you and what's behind of you, right? And so this is how you are finding this balance, because you are able to stay in this steady position without, moving so much, right? Because you were practicing this thing. And this is exactly what they want to learn. It's like they want to learn how you found this balance. How it's almost like if they could pay you money for you to teach them, it's like they would, right? They want to gain that from you. So they are offering something that might be of interest to you. And I don't feel like they are okay, so this might be, just for a few people. They are actually, offering money to just sit down with you and you tell them exactly what you did. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It's just this notion that it's a fair and balanced exchange, right? There is this transaction that is happening in this 3D realm in between, these two people, you being this one. And I feel like this is something that you enjoy. So let's put it this way now. So after the Six of Pentacles, we have the Ten of Wands. So this is what is confirming to me or showing me that essentially with the Nine of Wands from the first part, yes, when you discover that you could achieve this mastery, right? That you were experimenting with this ability of yours and this natural capacity to breathe in and breathe out, but mainly like paying attention to the breathing in part of the process. It's like you were there on your own and like the company of the environment, right? Meaning that if there weren't any people there, or if there weren't any other consciousness, like human consciousness, but only like the consciousness of the environment, it's like you were merging with these two realms at the same time, right? By being in between and finding joy in that, finding the beauty of this in between state. And when you share it with this one, right, whoever this one is, the payback that you receive, let's say if they are not paying you with money, right, is the joyful part of this contribution or this sharing, actually, right? It's like when you bring somebody to this state of consciousness, of balanced consciousness and steady, it's like it's a steady position, right? It's like you are able to hold yourself in this blissful state for longer than you used to, right? So not only you are amazed by that, right? It's like you are aware of how much you have improved in such short amount of time. When somebody approaches you, Aries, saying, please teach me how to do this, I want to do this again. Also, I was going to say again, maybe they have tried and they have failed. So seeing that you did that and you managed to accomplish something great, right? It's like, it's almost like being such a peaceful state that by being close to you, by learning from you, they are able to achieve something that maybe they have tried alone also, but they didn't achieve the same results, right? And so you're bringing them into this environment of yours. It's like you are welcoming them into your space, and it's interesting because the Nine of Wands and the Ten of Wands are coming through more metaphorically. It's not so much like the physical space. It's about this in-between realms, right? In between the airy realm and the watery realm, right? These two densities that coexist and that match or that meet just in that very subtle line, right? That you have managed to just be in sync, right? And so when you're teaching them, you are not only, finding that you could reset and rejoice on your own, but that you can bring that to somebody else. And that is so amazing because I feel like that is sharing the joy, right? Sharing the bliss, sharing the happiness, sharing the beauty, sharing this technique that helps others, maybe just one, but maybe potentially others too, to get there too, right? And that is amazing because the sun. And so this sun is sometimes the sun, because in astrology the sun is all about the essence of who we are, but it's also about the personality. It's interesting because today for you, Aries, and I know Aries is a fire sign, right? And the sun is very fiery too, but this sun is talking about something outside. It's like witnessing something that is extremely powerful, understanding that it is there outside of you and outside of this other person too, right? It's like both of you floating at sea, right? Enjoying this beautiful sunny day, right? It's almost like this perfect sunny afternoon where there are no clouds on the sky and the sun is shining so brightly, but at the same time, it's like you are enjoying it. You are enjoying the sun. It's almost like it's like you are witnessing this outside source that is so, it's interesting, it's coming through as dignified source, dignified. So there is something outside of you that is extremely potent, and it's like by being there, by maintaining yourself afloat, it's almost, oh, that is so interesting. Okay, so there's something about the time of the sun, right? Or maybe the age of the sun. It's almost like because you were mastering this technique or this ability of yours, and maybe in the past you could only hold your breath, or you could only hold your position, right, in this in-between realms position, right? This state of mind, the state of your consciousness for just a few moments, but now you are expanding that capacity. It's almost like you are acknowledging that the sun is not just shining for the amount of time during the day that we see the sun. It's like you are understanding this. It's like this endless, it's like the endless power of the sun, but there's something more that I'm trying to pull in. It's like it's just talking about time. It's hard to explain. It's almost like you appreciate the time of the sun or the age of the sun. I don't know exactly what that means, but I feel like okay, so because of this card coming next, the Wheel of Fortune, it's like seeing more than just a glimpse of, or a glimmer of the sunshine. It's like being fully exposed to the sun, right? Being fully exposed to the in-between state, maybe in between lives, right? This is talking about lifetimes. So yes, the Wheel of Fortune is like this cyclical movement, and so is the sun, right? Especially because of this, the shapes of it. But it's talking about like how this endless power source, this power dignified source of life is like it's never ending. It never shuts off. It never shuts down. It's something that is always shining, right? So meaning that, if before, when you could hold this floating state just for 5 seconds, and now you can do it for 5 minutes, it's like it's almost like you can stay in the presence of this pure light because you are witnessing the two realms at once. And I want to say, not, this is a metaphor, being the air realm and the water realm. It's almost like the more ethereal realm, maybe the 5D, and the 3D of this dense plane that we are inhabiting as a physical body, right? It's almost like being in such an incredible state of consciousness that you can be not only in between realms, but also you can be in between lives. So that might come as a shocking truth to you, but I feel like because of the Ace of Swords, but that, yes, it's an epiphany, but it's all about the balance, right? Not only because you have a lot of force, especially initiating the reading with the Four of Swords. It's like we have the Four of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Four of Wands, right? And they are all aligned. And it's interesting because I feel like there's something that you are finding this perfect balance in being like human in being in this physical body, in being in this physical dimension, but also finding the connection to this other airy realm that is so beautiful and so blissful and so incredibly out of time. I want to say, for some reason, these two cards are talking about endless time. And so it's almost like this, what is that phrase? You know, when we have an epiphany or an idea, it's like it's not a lightning bolt, but it's more like it's interesting because it's not coming through words, but it's coming through as like this image of this lamp bulb that is lighting up, right? So I feel like this is what this Ace of Swords is talking about, Aries. There's something that is igniting your lamp bulb, or this your ideas. It's like refreshing your mind with something new that is coming from this dignified, powerful source of light, right? Because you are able to stay under the sun, but specifically, like, you are under the sun, but you are, you know, afloat in this in-between realms. So there's something about this specific position that you're holding, or this steadiness of your consciousness, that you're not drifting off to either side. It's like you're able to be just in the right spot, that you can receive both, right, information from both realms. And that is the reason why you can stay longer there, right? Because you have managed to master that ability, and that is giving you this incredible, well, knowing, but it's coming through as like this, you know, ignition of this lamp, right? But it's like in your mind. Maybe it's like this mind awakening, right? Or something in your third eye, but it's coming through as like a shocking truth that just, it's almost like just really turning on. It's like being ignited because it's being fueled by this sun, which is like this powerful source. So because we're ending with the Hermit, this card is coming through with an incredible pack of information. So the first thing, yes, it's like what you have, maybe, you know, outside of your home, some sort of incredible experience that is bringing some sort of significant insight or an epiphany, that you, it's like you are becoming more aware of what you are able to master, right? If you are putting all of your focus into yourself, into your body, and bringing this focus closely, which was something that came up in the Pisces reading, it's like you are able to master something very, very quickly. And it's because you are, maybe because you're open to see this in between lives, or it's like maybe you're open to it's almost coming through, it's not coming through words. That's the interesting thing, because it feels more like this illumination, right? Because you are witnessing the sun, the pure light, because you were, you know, inhaling the pure air. It's all of this purity that is bringing you this incredible insight, but it's not where you live, right? The Hermit is where you live. It's almost like your home, or where you find that you can process everything that you have lived or experienced. So this is somewhere else, and it's almost like you want to understand it properly. So you cannot understand it there, because there you are still exposed to the sun. So the more you are exposed to the sun, the more you're going to absorb from it. So in order to process what you are receiving, what is being awakened within you, what is being ignited in your mind, right? As a fresh idea, right? As a fresh idea, but it's like this illumination, right? There's something that you have to remove yourself from this exposure from the sun. so that you can, it's almost like you can process it all, because now there you are in like a confined, maybe dark space, that you are not receiving any new information or any new stimuli that is just expanding. It's almost like I'm seeing you expanding your lungs, but also expanding your consciousness to the point that it's like you're the size of the universe, right? You are the universe. So for you to really make sense of the things that you are bringing in, remember, you are breathing in the air. You are, just being this witness to the sun, right? Absorbing the pure sunlight. There's so much that you are absorbing, that you are expanding exponentially. And that is the reason why you have the sense of no time, right? But you want to make sense of it. You are interested in, like, not bringing logic to it, but really understanding what you just experienced, right? What went just, a few moments ago, what went through with you. And so you have to take all of this information to this secluded space. I want to say, I don't know if you are going to this space with this one, maybe because you have, witnessed this together, exposed to the elements in a sense, and you practice it, but now you have to go back to the theory part just to organize everything in your mind, right? There's something about going to another space that is important, that you can, it's like you can translate it or that you can decode it. That's the thing. It's like, because the message that is coming through from the sun and the Wheel of Fortune is so wordless, is so hard to put into words. There's something that is important that it's like plucking something to your consciousness, or from the universe to your consciousness, as something that has to be communicated. So perhaps, yes, you are going to this classroom, perhaps, right? With this person, with this Knight of Swords, to put into words, or maybe exchange notes of what both of you experienced, right? So I'm going to include the last card, not the last card, but the bottom of the deck card, which is the Eight of Swords. Because remember, the way that you were experimenting with yourself, right? Initially, like bringing in the amount of air that you could into your body, into your lungs, but then quickly realizing and observing how your lungs can, it's like they can really store more, right? They can receive more air. And you were doing so, it's like you were testing out your own body in a sense, and you were finding it easier by the moment, right? You wouldn't have to think so much about it. It's like it was almost like a natural, instinctive kind of, and it's not instinctive because it wasn't the first thing that you thought of. It's almost like this practicing that makes it perfect in a sense. So that allowed you to feel more what was going on. That's the thing, without thinking too much. But now the thinking part is also important, right? It's like to make sense of things that are so hard to explain with words. So there's something about, well, this is talking, it's interesting because I'm not going to show you because I don't know if I'll have hands, but in the thumbnail you'll be able to see the central line in the first part, right? The Four of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Four of Wands. It feels like a clear channel, right? It's like this tower, or this it's like this I'm seeing like a circular kind of spiral space, right? And this is what I'm seeing with this Eight of Swords. So the moment that you remove yourself to go into this hermit mode, perhaps with another person, which, potentially becomes your student, or it's just this other that you can exchange your thoughts, your perceptions, and what they thought about this experience. It's like going into this isolation, going into this secluded mode so that you can think things through. you are receiving even more, right? It's like what you have. Well, if you went through an incredible experience, right, of expansion to the maximum, right, and you were feeling like there's something really true about that you want to make sense and explain and be able to translate it into words, there's something about this phase that is important so that you can bring in more. It's almost like the more that you are exposed to this pure light, to the pure air, you're going to expand even more. Therefore, you're going to be able to learn more. But you have to go inside this cave or this classroom or this, secluded space, this maybe a sacred space, so that you can process everything. And the more you are in this state, the more the words will come, right? This is what this card is talking about. It's like, if at first is really hard because you're just feeling, because you opened up your capacity to feel, right? Feel the subtle changes, feel these two realms simultaneously. It's like you are going to have the words to explain what you went through, right? Without having to think about it, because this clear channel is now open, right? Whew. Okay, so that was intense, Aries. Let's see what the astrological runes have to add to you then as a final guidance. Oh. Okay. So Taurus, I feel like Taurus also came for Pisces, or was it for Aquarius? But I feel like it's been in the recent readings. So this Taurus, maybe it's talking about like going back to the Pisces reading that was talking about like, bringing this focus close to you. But there's something about grounding. This is what I feel like you're doing here at the end with the Hermit, especially because I didn't show you because it was already too much, and I feel like this video is already too long. But underneath the Eight of Swords is another king, the King of Pentacles. Yes, so the King of Earth. And I feel like this is what the rune here at the end is talking about. There's something like, there is a knowledge that needs to be brought down, that needs to be anchored, that needs to be translated in a way that is palatable, that is it's easy to digest here on this 3D physical plane, right? But you are a master of it also. It's like, it's not only you're the master of absorbing these things that are expanding your capacity to learn and to see and to witness things from two different realms at the same time, but the way that you are, it's almost like the way that you're studying, right? You're going through this experience and you are doing so diligently. It's like there is a determination about you that once you start this thing, it's like you are really going deep into this process of translation and communication in a way that you can, it's like you can turn this into something that is not only, if this person that appeared, was the first one that showed you the possibility of, maybe teaching this to others with this King of Pentacles here, and with Taurus, this can be actually something that you can teach, many other students or many other people, and explain them in a way that makes sense, explain them in a way that is not too out there, but it's like anchored down on earth, right? It's like it makes sense to humans in a sense. And because Taurus is all about like the material realm and enjoying the material realm, maybe the fruits of your labor, maybe this could be also like a lucrative endeavor that maybe you're not even thinking about, but this could be like a side note, or a natural consequence that might pop up in the future. But we'll see. You'll have to let me know how this goes for you, Aries. This was a very, very interesting reading. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful to you. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you next time. Okay. Bye.